Today's challenge is so simple and yet so complicated. I need to build a base game only family home on this lot, and yet this is, I think, the 6th time I've gone to record this video. Like, I like the idea of it being kind of boxy. So then I was thinking, well, what if I added a little, like, sunroom thing to the front here? And then I was like, knowing me, I need at least one front-facing gable, so like, where are we gonna put that? And hopefully we don't have to record a 7th time. So we do a sunroom. I guess this will probably be the living room, which means if we do another room behind that, it'll have to be a bit bigger. So extend this. I know that the hallway's really wide, but then I kind of wanted to do a 2-tile staircase. It's not built like a nerd, but I still need it to be good. If I move the stairs back, we could have a back door. So then the bathroom would just be off the back door. And then we'll do a deck back here and a little garden spot, I think. And then upstairs we'll just throw down a hecking ton of bedrooms, a bunch of squares, a nice big bathroom. I think this will be an all right family home. And we could do a nice simple roof. We'll do a gable this way, pitch it down a wee bit, do the old copy rotate place in this direction, and I really hope I don't hate this. Oh, I guess we need a sunroom roof as well, and since this is going to be glass, I'm just going to do a half gable, pitch it almost all the way down, and get rid of those eaves. Definitely needs a foundation. I think it needs something else. But what? Oh yeah, why I'm building this. There's a good question to answer. So this is actually for a community-led challenge. I don't know exactly what to call it, in our Discord server. So one of our moderators has decided to lead a community-based build challenge, and everybody's been assigned a lot in Newcrest, and we're all building it up together. I'm not convinced I love these proportions, but the only way I can think to fix it would be to make the middle wider, and then if I make the middle wider, that's really gonna mess up the floor plan I have going on. Oh, but I like it better. Dang it. What if we move the house over this way, and then we move the sunroom over to the side of the living room instead? We're gonna have to move everything over a tile so that our symmetry is still gonna be there. This is still a slightly awkwardly large entryway, but I'm gonna see if I can make it work. Then we have an office, a little sunroom space, a living room, dining, kitchen, half bath, and then I still have to do the floor plan upstairs. So we should pretty easily just be able to like put a couple of bedrooms here at the front. That'll be nice. It'd be nice to have the family bathroom toward the top of the stairs, which means over here is going to be our main bedroom. So there's that. I like that much better. It's very cleanly in thirds now, but it's a little bit asymmetrical because of our sunroom, so that's good. We still have to sort out this deck situation. So I think if we can sort of push this around a bit. Yeah, I like that better. Next question, why is it so difficult to build with just the base game? I think it's because we sort of come into the game deciding that we know what we want to build, and that can be challenging because the base game, while it has a lot of really good options for a lot of great styles, is still just the base game. You know, we let what we think looks good get in the way of what could actually be good, and finding that balance is tricky. Is there not a shorter version of this window with shutters? There goes that plan. Okay. For example, base game is really great if you want to build modern stuff. We've got some really nice modern and mid-century type windows. And if you want to build something a little bit more gothic, it's going to be a lot more difficult just because we don't have those that asset type in the game. So if you're trying to build a gothic or a medieval type home with just the base game, you're not going to have a very good time. And that could really wear on you as a builder, and you could start thinking that you're not good because none of your builds come out well. And that's probably not the case. What probably is you just need to practice listening to what the assets that are available can actually do for you, which is easier said than done. But it's a really good skill to practice, because base game homes can be really good. I will put some on screen here. I'll show off a little bit, show you some of the stuff that I've done with just the base game. And I mean, are they like the best builds ever to grace the planet? No. But do they suck? Also no. Even this one, I think, if we can get some decent wallpaper on it, will look pretty okay. And I think our proportions are such that we might actually be able to use one of these paints that has the columns on it. Oh, it won't show up at the front here, though. Is it worth bringing it out an additional tile? That's the other thing, right, with the base game. Space planning can be so difficult because you have to plan around furniture that you do or do not have, because there are just a lot of pieces of furniture that the base game doesn't have. Or you have to plan around the wallpapers. You have to make sure that your corners are at least 2 tiles apart if you want those little column details to show up. And then I can go through and get rid of any that I don't want with the matching wallpaper. I think it's worth it. Now, I did say that I wanted this to be the kitchen, and these windows are not going to work super great for cabinets, so I will have to get rid of those and use these instead, which is really going to throw off my symmetry here. Might just have to suck it up and deal with it. Also, this restroom might have to change dimensions slightly if we're going to work with that window there. What are we going to put in that little nook? I don't know, but we'll figure out something and make it look on purpose. Now, because these are bathrooms at the back of the house, the windows might be a little odd from the back here, but if we're thinking in terms of like real life house design, the back of the house very rarely matters nearly as much as everything else going on. So we will ignore that and pretend it's not a problem. So here's a look at our house from the outside. A little bit plain and boring, sure, but it's also base game only, and it's not bad, it's just a little bit plain, and that is okay. And maybe that's another thing. With the access that we have to social media, which is fabulous. I mean, you're literally watching a video that I made to put on social media, so who am I to complain about it? But my point is, with all the access that we have to social media, it can become so easy to start comparing your builds to everybody else's, and that's just not healthy. It's okay to do super simple, basic builds. It exercises your little builder brain, it gets you problem solving in new ways, like it's a really good thing to do. It's just hard sometimes when it feels like everybody else can build such amazing things, even with the base game. And if you feel like you can't, or you're falling behind, or you're just lacking in some way, that can be really stressful. For all intents and purposes, my job is building houses in The Sims and posting them online. And there are still so many builders who I watch build and I'm just like, holy cow, these people are amazing. I will never be that good. Why won't you extend over? Rude. And then downstairs, I probably won't use doors as much. See if I can get away with some of these arches. I don't know that I can. With the very square shape of our windows, I think it'll be better for us to stick with square arches as well. Now, we don't have base game square arches, so that's a good thing, or for medium height walls anyway. Another point, where the base game just doesn't have certain aspects and you have to keep that in mind when you're building. I really shouldn't be doing a build style that relies on medium wall height and square shapes when it comes to building, because I am going to be very disappointed. I think we'll have those rooms connected and then maybe do doors for the office and into the sunroom area. Downstairs right now, all of my windows and doors all match. Upstairs, I actually ended up with going with brown doors, which I might keep. If I end up going with a wallpaper with a brown baseboard, that might be a good idea. But if I end up going with something with white trim, then I'll definitely be switching these doors back over to white. Which would match better with the windows and everything. This is mostly a base game trick, specifically because we are just more limited in our options and colors, and even if the styles don't match, making sure that colors match is a good way to kind of trick your eye into thinking things match. I think I like the blue and the white. The kitchen I'm likely not going to leave like this. I'm probably going to bring in some sort of tile. It can still be blue, but I like doing tile behind my cabinets. And these walls have a match with Pure Expressions. You can see those two match, and then if I go back over here and I grab this one, you can go back over to Pure Expressions, I have the match for that as well. So that can be helpful for things like this, where I can see the tile on this side, and I don't really want it over there, but I also don't want just a whole new wall color, so I can bring in that one Pure Expressions tile. Now for the actual kitchen layout, I'm gonna go with just a nice classic L, and this isn't like a super expensive home, I don't think, but it's also not gonna be super duper cheap. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my counter set and do a decent counter, decent appliances and stuff. You could try to match your kitchen fixtures to your kitchen cabinet color, or the handles rather. That's what I'm trying to say. That's about as close as I'm gonna get with that one. Then I also have this wall over here. I could add a kitchen table, but I kinda am thinking about grabbing a couple of these cabinets again. And I'm going to use the end cabinets as well here to make like a standalone little bit with a microwave and a coffee maker and just small appliances I think would go well there. I don't know if a trash can will be accessible if we stick it back there. Oh, maybe it will be. Actually, if I hold Alt and just sort of scooch my counters over, if you just scooch one counter, the rest of them will snap to it. That's a good spot for our little trash can. And I can grab my upper cabinets. Oh, how shall we do this? I might just go for 2 of our end cabinets side by side. I think that's an okay little kitchen. It's definitely still spacious, but I think that's just sort of going to be how this build is going to play out. We're just going to have a little bit of extra space. And now that I realize it, if I do this layout, I actually don't even need to use those short windows there. I can use some of our taller ones. Would you look at that? Almost like it was designed to be this way. Huh. What a novel concept. If you're wondering what sort of plans or house styles will work well with just the base game, I would say pretty much anything American colonial. The base game obviously is very American. Most Victorian styles can be done in the base game, except for the ones like Gothic Revival, which has a very iconic window shape that is just not available in the base game. It just won't turn out very well, and you'll probably be kind of sad because it'll look kind of weird, just because the assets simply don't exist in the base game in a way that's going to make the build look properly done. You also want to pay attention to space planning, like how big should your rooms be? So here is a piece of advice that I will give you for how big your rooms should actually be. Your dining room and your living room should each seat as many Sims as live in the house, or maybe more, plus 1 or 2, never less. So since this is a 4-bedroom house, it's very conceivable that 6 to 8 Sims could live here very comfortably. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a full-size dining table here. Now, if this was a 2-Sim household, unless it's specifically for some sort of gameplay where you're having like parties and stuff all the time, this is too large of a space for this table. Now in general, I say that any space that's 3 tiles by 3 tiles or more is what's going to register as completely wide open. But when it comes to walls, you really do want your furniture to be within 1.5 tiles or so. So here we have 2 tiles and 2 tiles. If I just move this over so that our chair is at the 1.5 tile mark and bring this wall in, all of a sudden the room actually looks slightly more proportionate. And you can cheat it and make it look a little bit bigger by pulling it diagonal, adding a rug, making the room oblong. This is about the max size you'd want for a dining room for a 2 to 3 Sim household. But since this is a larger one, we can go ahead and throw down a full-on 8-seater table, which will fit in this space fairly well. And we've got room for decorations and stuff too when we come through and do that. And then again, living room, you're gonna want it to be able to seat at least as many Sims as live in the house. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with my couch, a nice comfy couch. Now, we could potentially do 2 couches in here. That's not terrible. The main thing is that we definitely will have traffic flowing this direction to get outside. So because we do need traffic coming through here, I probably wouldn't do this. But if this was like a dead end, then I would definitely consider a layout like this. So we're gonna move the couch forward toward the fireplace so that it doesn't get in the way of our traffic, so we can actually have traffic going around. And at this point, I'm gonna try and bring in a rug. Whether or not I keep this rug, who knows? But this will help me start planning the rest of the space. So we definitely have space for a coffee table here. I think I'll just go with one of the slightly smaller ones, and armchairs too to try and hit that seating goal that we have. And with a little bit more finagling, I'm pretty happy with this as my base layout. 6 Sims over here, plus 2 more chairs over here if they're necessary for whatever's happening. Let's be real, Sims never like are actually all in the same space at the same time, but just as a general rule of thumb is like what size living room would fit best with a 4-bedroom home. A size that would fit this layout works pretty well. I'm a little bit concerned about this entryway just because it is so large. We might have to get kind of creative on what we're going to do to fill in that space, but we'll ignore that just a little bit longer and move over to our office, which we definitely have space for 2 desks, and I think that'll be perfect. I think having one desk that's like the grown-ups desk and one desk that's more a kid's desk, homework sort of station, I think that can work really well. And how do we communicate which is which? Decoration, right? This could have a chair that's a fun color. Maybe we'll do an old-fashioned lamp over here on these books, but then this one might get the robot lamp, right? So that can sort of showcase that one of these is more an adult desk, one's more a kid's desk, and then this looks like a good spot for some bookshelves over here. This one is technically 2 tiles, but it's a little bit more narrow, so I think I can put 2 of them side by side. It's definitely not built in, but it doesn't look bad that way either. And if we do a grid check here, you can see that technically there's not a 3 tile by 3 tile space that's open. I don't want to over cram any one space because that'll make the rest of the house feel a little bit more off kilter, you know? Like if our blank spaces in this room are only about 1 tile, then all of a sudden this room is going to look really empty, so I kind of want to avoid that. Now the entryway. Definitely going to start with a rug. That will help start filling in some of that space. I might do a lot of repeating to keep things pulled together, so like this rug set actually has a few different sizes, but you can resize using your bracket keys, which can help look like it was sort of all put together at the same time. So if we have these rugs, which match this rug, which matches this rug, now we're starting to have some patterns connecting through the house. Over here, I want some entryway type stuff, so I'm going to look for my coat racks. And we have a couple, and I'm going to use both of them. And I'm going to grab a mirror. Okay, that feels fairly full. Or I can bring the shoes over here, use both of the shoe racks, and put a little chair over here. I feel like you can picture that. You know, you're at a garage sale and your mom's like, this chair would be perfect for putting our shoes on by the door. Next thing you know, you have the perfect chair right next to your door. Does it look a little silly? Yes. Does it also look lived in and realistic? I think so. I think over here, this looks like a good spot for a more narrow table, and that will help this space feel like it has some sense of purpose as well. Ooh, and maybe a speaker as well. I will go through and decorate. I like to furnish and then decorate. On the rare occasions I furnish, just so that if I do have to change anything around, it's not that much. Like I don't have to move a whole bunch of stuff too. And now for the bedrooms. Beds, honestly, I think is one of the places that the base game is lacking the most. Each one of them is such a personality. There aren't just like plain beds. This is the most plain bed we really have, and it sucks. So we don't really want to use that one. This one for the adults is okay, or I guess just double bed. It doesn't have to be necessarily for the grown-ups. And I do like this one as well. I don't know if the blue on blue will exactly work in this room, but it's a nice bed. So I think I'll go ahead and stick that one in there, and I'll grab another double bed for this room. Maybe this one? And then this room can be for a kid. Let's give them a personality. Let's give them sports. I don't do sports all the time. And then let's go ahead and make this a nursery, actually, since we have that option. We can do dinosaurs. So this will turn into this, which has like little dinosaur feet and stuff on it. I think this little cubby over here will make the most sense for a toilet, and that will leave plenty of space over here to do a nice double vanity, which I like doing for family homes. Put a sink at either end, then grab a couple of mirrors, and there we go. We'll add some clutter and stuff as well, but this will let me use a nice tub shower combo over here in the corner, and there's a nice bathroom there. For you guys over here, the shower there. Maybe we'll give these guys slightly fancier sinks, so little cabinets. Toilet, and this would also be a great spot to add laundry if you had laundry day. Now, of course, I don't, so I'll have to fill it up with something else. All right, I've added bath towels, and I think I can put a little rug down, and that'll help. For the nursery, the first thing I'm going to do is pull out everything that we actually need for the kid. Now, the base game does not have a changing table, which is a bit of a bummer, but we can do other things. We can pull out this matching bookshelf. Blarfy is good. A toilet training chair of some sort. We've got a matching armchair as well, which I think is technically like a kid's chair, but adults can sit in it as well. Other useful things for the littles include the stacking blocks. That's a good toy, or just a toy chest in general. I feel like this light might be good because then you can sort of direct the light where you want to go. You know, if you're trying to take care of the baby in the middle of the night. This is actually a really nice piece. I'm really glad that they added this to the game. So this was in a collaboration with Peacemaker, who is a fabulous custom content creator. Makes a lot of really, really cool stuff if you're not already familiar with their work. I think if this is going to be like our teen room, what would a teen want? Possibly an activity or skill, or maybe just a place to hang out with friends. How about a Freezer Bunny guitar? That sounds good. Freezer Bunny, this makes me want to recolor this into something a little bit more bright and cheerful. I don't know, maybe we end up going with pink. That would switch most of our furniture over to white, so it's not going to be like pink overload. And a couple of nice chairs. All right, so here's something I was talking about earlier with furniture spacing. So this is a pretty full room. It's not terrible. Like, everything will work. It looks like it works. It probably could be reasonably have been designed by a child or a teenager. But because the furniture is sort of more packed in there, it's going to make some of our other rooms look a little bit more empty, and that's a bit of a concern of mine. So probably no more furniture in here, and we'll try to keep the decorations mostly toward the wall or a rug. And on to Sports Kids room. I'm gonna go over here to the kids activities. We don't have a lot of kids activities in just the base game, but I can grab a nice science kit, so that'll be good to have. And of course the crafting table. We also definitely have space in here for a dollhouse, and we don't really need to double up on anything. This isn't a huge space. We could also put the dollhouse out here if we really wanted to, sort of have it be like shared between the kids. And these do work if you size them down, which just looks a little bit more realistic in my opinion. So if we wanted to make this like a shared play area, I think a dollhouse would be a good start for that. And we could also pull in some decorations like these llama and giraffe toys. Let's go into decorations and I guess just work our way backwards. So starting here in this room, I really want this to feel like a kid's room. He's into sports and just like typical 10-year-old boy things. I believe this is a video game poster, so we'll pop that up there. That's a good one to have. If you feel like there aren't quite enough posters, you can just try to pick one that's a very different color combination, like this one, and scale them up or down. That can help make it look like there's a little bit more variety happening. This is another good kids room decoration thing. It's like a little height tracker chart. I think that's cute. So there's a kids room. Not too bad. Oh, we do have a little bit of space over here still. Let's grab a light for the table, because we have this sports ball one. I definitely want a lamp on the table here as well, but I think I'll use this into the moodlet one. That seems to make sense. I guess we could technically change the wall color in some of these rooms if we wanted to. I don't know, this is overall a very simple build though. I might, let's see, or maybe like a darker color. I don't hate that. Maybe we'll change this one. Make this one a slightly lighter blue. Okay, so that'll mix that up a little bit. And then this room, if I'm going to use that bed, I definitely want a slightly different wallpaper color. Since this one's a teen, I want the art to feel a little bit younger. Ooh, maybe a movie poster. And a rug under the bed, maybe? Just somewhere to put your feet when you get out of bed. You know, that's kind of what I'm thinking there. I feel like painting is a must-have skill, so I'm gonna go ahead and snag an easel to put in here. I guess technically you'd want the easel to be facing more or less away from the windows so that you have better light. It also gives us a reason to put some more artistic stuff in here, like this little hand. Kind of busy bedroom, but you know what? Sometimes a lot of stuff has to go in there. I kind of want to put lights above the mirrors, I think. And I think if I go into the bathroom stuff, this is a really good spot for a little bathroom supply cabinet right here. And we can add some clutter over here if we wanted to. A couple of towels, toothbrushes, stuff like that. Keep your Sims from putting plates there, really. And I think I want to add some chalk art over here. I think that could be cute. For this one, I think this is about where I'm going to leave it. I might look for some wall art, but the reason I'm not going to do too much more beyond this is because your Sims need a lot of space to be able to interact properly with infants. Let's see, we do have a couple of dinosaurs, so I guess I'll grab those. Yeah, because like you need space to teach your babies to crawl and whatever, so I think that'll be fine and dandy. Oh, I do want to put a little rug under here. I like to use this one because it's like outside and stuff. Yay! So there's a decorated upstairs. And now, now all we have to do is decorate downstairs. We'll grab our same rug, I think, probably. Yeah, that's fine. We do have this little sideboard. Put that over here with some art above it or something. And a couple of plants, I think, over here will about finish that off. If you would like to have like a little bit of a extra decoration, we can grab a little high chair and put it over here. Whoops. I think that'll work since we have a nursery. But you can put your extra chair in the corner, right? Like in case you have guests, and then grab some sort of clutter to put on it. One of my personal favorites is backpacks, which apparently isn't in here. But this little basket of baby toys could work well too. So you'll turn on move objects, you'll use 9 to raise it up, and then Alt to place it where you want it. It might be floating a little bit. It's up to you whether you care about that or not. But then, you know, that's just the extra chair that gets stuff piled on it. And for the kitchens especially, I like to drag out a few clutter items and then pull my counter out. And since I have move objects on, I can then hold Alt to place the things where I actually want them to be and then put it back. That can lead to slightly more realistic looking clutter. Kind of feeling the rooster painting. Maybe we'll even add a full-on rooster in here. Yeah, look at that. Classic kitchen decor. Now we've circled back to the entryway. Not a lot of interesting stuff going on in here. I think some simple artwork would be nice. Grandfather clock, maybe? Maybe it's just going to be an underwhelming entryway and we have to be okay with that. Now if we do want a television, this is going to be the place to put it. And I think I'm going to grab this same light to put here over the chess table, just to bring a little bit more light to this side of the room. Maybe some more plants as well. So who's going to argue with that? I might put a chair over here, maybe another one of the kids' chairs, just to sort of hang out. I think this is a good spot for one of these benches. And I think I'll use the same bricks in here as I did outside. I like that a little bit better than the wallpaper out there, I think. Now, technically, we could also make this look like an addition by leaving this brick where it is and grabbing some siding and just painting the sort of additioned part with siding. Now, that looks very much not like it was part of the original build. Oh, I need some sort of lamp in here as well. I forgot about that. Lighting, lamps. Kind of worried that this is going to get in the way, so I think I'll get rid of that. I'm going to scooch these over. I'll grab a standing floor lamp for here. And then a chair. This one I think has maybe a swatch that matches. Put you here. And then heading outside, I'm going to tile my pool and change the trim color to something that matches my deck a little bit better. There we go. Up on the deck itself, I think I'd like to add a grill and somewhere to sit outside and eat. And over here, I'd actually really like to put the woodworking table, which I thought was a base game thing. There it is. That's just handy. And then for the rest of the backyard, don't have a ton of outdoor activities and skills. I mean, we've got some planter boxes, so we can throw those in. We've got the monkey bars and a telescope. Let's put that over here. Okay, outdoor activities and skills. I think did we do the whole house? I think we did. I mean, we have to like landscape still, but I'll start in the front yard for that. I think I do want a tree out front. How about the aspen trees? I'm gonna put a couple of those over here, and I want to put a couple in the backyard as well, because I can. It's a good enough reason for me. I do want flowers. I think the landscaping should have something going for it. I mean, our house is pretty basic, so I'm gonna start with some hedges. For flowers, I feel like the hydrangeas are just a classic, so I'll probably pull some of those in. These are good as well though, these little sun roses. Maybe some orange flowers? Is that too much orange with the brick? Maybe yellow. Okay, now I'll go through and place some of these. Doing my classic landscaping method, which is to pick a shrub, pick a few flowers, and we sort of layer everything in so that we don't just place all of one thing all at the same time, because something that can do is sort of make clumps, and sometimes you need clumps in landscaping and sometimes you don't. So I like to go through and just start placing some, and by resizing the flowers, that way I'm limiting myself to just a handful of flower types, but I still get the variety that you need for your eye to not be completely bored just through the nature of having some of the plants be different sizes. It works. It's great. Then I'm going to grab some rocks. New crust rocks are going to be sort of grayish. And if you really need to take up some space, you can scale the rocks up. That helps. Like over here, I kind of forgot to put plants, so I'm just going to put in a big old rock. And my problem has been solved. Isn't that easy? I feel like I want some lawn decorations. I don't know about... Well, actually, you know what? I very rarely put gnomes in. Let's do gnomes. Let's put you. You're happy. I'm gonna raise this with 9 and put him on top of my little rock here. There we go. Happy little gnome. You can sit here. And we'll put the other one, sort of this matching set over here, I think. I was actually coming in here for the bird bath because I thought that this would be a good spot for a bird bath right here. If I wanted to add more flowers, now would be the time. I think I might add a few more back here. So I'm just going to grab my exact same flowers and layer a few more in. And then I do like adding filler. I like my garden to be pretty dense, as you can tell. I'm going to take some filler to just sort of fill out any areas where I still need plants but don't really want to add more of what I already have going on. And then at this point I would add in terrain paint, except I think I'm going to go ahead and landscape in the backyard a little bit as well. Not too much, just a few of the same plants, maybe a couple of rocks. Yay, and now we can do terrain paint. Make it soft, make it smooth, make it dirt, and then just paint under everything that touches the ground. Now before we upload it, I will of course check and see what light is going to be the best. I think the evening light, yeah, that's definitely going to be our option. And I'm going to try to name it Base Game Family Home, which is a very simple name. That's okay. The people who I suspect are going to be most likely looking for a build like this are going to be looking for a simple base game family home without too much craziness happening. And I can always add hashtags down here as well. For example, pool. We have a nice backyard, so I can put that in there. This is a good one for families. And I know that we can do the bath count and bed count here. Oh, that's beds. There we go. But I like to put the bedroom count down here as well, because you can't actually search by bedroom count in the gallery, which is kind of weird, but you can search by hashtags. The very first hashtags I need to use actually are base game only, and I will actually be play testing this as well. So I'll be adding hashtag play tested. So I'll upload this after I play test it. That's what I've got. This is just a challenge that has stumped me for a while. We finally got something that I don't absolutely hate, so I'm going to go ahead and count that as a win. High five, team. If you want to see more builds kind of like this, I do recommend this video at the top. And hey, if you would like to keep tabs on future community build events, join the Discord. The link is down below in the video description. Thanks for building with me today, and I look forward to building with you all again very, very soon. Bye!